All right, you guys, what it do? Your boy is back with another epic video, and as promised, I was gonna give you the walk around on the Buick Skylark, and here we go. So I actually just taking it out of storage right now. I'm about to take it to my girl's parents' house so I can get the carpet out and do some other things so I can properly store it. When I stored it, the carpet was really wet, and I figured out why is because it was actually leaking through a part right here where the sheet metal meets and where it's seam sealed. I don't know if you guys can really see, but right down there where all that seam seal is really nasty, it's actually leaking through the where the two pieces of metal kind of meet. And so I gotta just basically re-scrape it out, re-seam seal it, and then be good. So it was actually leaking down, and that's what was getting the carpet wet. And I think it's doing it on both sides because the other side is wet too. But that'll be in another video. But let me go ahead and just show you this car really quick, y'all. And as you guys seen earlier, in the walk around, it's pretty dang clean and straight. I mean, it has its little flaws. I think there's a dent somewhere on this side. I thought it was on this side. Oh, it's right here. You can barely tell. Let me see. I don't know if you guys can even tell, but there's a dent right here, and there's cracks in the paint here and here and here. Now, this car was actually painted, I think, about 3 or 4 times. Just paint over primer over paint. No one ever properly took it down to bare metal like it should have been. So that's why you see a lot of the cracks like in the paint and the mud and all that stuff. I mean, you can see how thick that paint was. Now, eventually I'll go ahead and get that right, but in the meantime, it's a good 20-footer. I mean, it actually looks really good from afar. And you know, for me, I'm just gonna be driving the heck out of this thing whenever I can. And shoot, man, I'm super excited about this car. Here, I'll take you out on the other side. I'll try not to let this video be too drawn out or anything like that, but I'm so glad that I got this car back because there is a lot of things that I want to do to this car. Here on the top, I don't know what happened here. When I owned it, it actually ended up developing a tear right here. And I think what happened was when I used to lay down the top, and the reason why I'm talking is past tense, y'all. If you guys don't know, I actually used to own this car 10 years ago, and recently it came back up for sale and I was able to get it. So check out my prior videos on this if you guys want to know that story. But you know, the car gods are good and it came back to me, so I swooped it up. But anyways, I think what happened was a long time ago when I used to lower the top wouldn't go all the way down. So it actually would go all the way down, but I would push it down just a little bit more to kind of settle in. And I think when I was pushing it, this part here got caught in the hinges of the top and it actually tore it. So as soon as I found that out, I actually sewed it back myself, and then I put some convertible top backing on the back, contact cemented it to it, and actually was really good. I took it to a upholstery shop who does convertible tops, and they said, man, that's actually a really good job, patch job, probably better than what we would do. And I would just leave it at that. So that's what I did. You couldn't really tell unless you got really close up, but so that was that. So I'm not sure if it actually tore more or what was going on here, but anyways, that's why you have that. And the window back here, I'm not sure what was going on with the window. I know when I owned it, the window was actually separating from the top right here, and I actually was able to kind of seal it back together, and it held, but I never really drove it in the rain. It was only really an issue when I washed the car. And this is real glass, y'all. Well, I know you can also get these with the plastic window and not have to worry about it. If these ever go bad or start to separate from this, you do have to replace the top, to my understanding, unless things have changed since I've owned it. But I've always heard if this is real glass and it separates from the top, then you have to actually replace the top, which I'll probably end up doing anyway. I'll do my best to kind of save it and kind of see what I can do with it. But you know, I think new tops are like, I think a white top for this car is like 400 bucks, and I'll have to probably end up replacing it at some point. Other than that, I mean, cosmetically, no major dents, nothing like that. It really just needs a good paint job. Now, why this is white is because a long time ago, I used to store it at my mom's house. So when I played football, I would leave in the off season and I would go play for 6 months, and I would come back and come back home or wherever I was living at the time, and then you know, stay for another 6 months, then leave again, and then kind of just keep doing that. But I've always been into cars, and so this car, when I had it, I actually had it stored at my mom's house, and she didn't have any more room in her shop at the time, so I actually stored it for a month outside under a tarp, and thinking it was going to be safe. Well, it was safe, but the paint wasn't safe. And so the water and the condensation, and as much as it rains here in Washington, it actually got caught and trapped underneath the tarp in the paint. And the paint ended up absorbing the water, made water bubbles, and then that wasn't good. If you guys can kind of probably see some bubbles here in the paint, a little bit, but it was really bad on the trunk. And so that's why that is painted white, because at the time I didn't have the money or the resources to paint the whole car. So a buddy of mine actually painted this like a off-white with like a blue pearl in it. So if you look at it from the side, I don't know if you guys can tell, but you can kind of see that blue pearl. And I thought that it would look really slick if you're looking at it from the back with the white top, and then with the whole white interior with the top down. I thought it would look pretty sharp, and I'm glad that they kept that, because I actually think it looks good. And the guy that I got it from when I rebought it again here a few weeks ago said that everybody always complimented that back piece, how it was white, and they really liked it. So I'm glad to see that it got good feedback. On the inside, you see the door panels are off. I'm actually doing some work to this little window trigger there. It's not working right, so I have to mess with that. But as you can see, man, door panels are clean. Interior is still pretty clean. It kind of bums me out that if you can see the door panel there where those screws are there, those screws aren't supposed to be there. The screws are actually supposed to be on the bottom. And I don't know why they did that. That actually kind of really annoys me. There's not a lot of changes that has been done to this car since I've had it, but some of the changes that have happened, I wish they would have just did a better job with. However, nothing that I can't fix, and everything that I've done is pretty much still there. And they've also added some upgrades to it as well. I had a really hard time starting this car sometimes. I'm not sure if it was the wiring or the electrical or something. I'm not really sure. I think it ended up being wiring, because when I open the hood, which I'll show you, I do see some new wiring and things in there that I didn't have in there before. And ever since I've started it, since I've had it, it actually just starts right up, no issues. When we brought this car to storage, we also brought our Christmas stuff down, so that's why there's a bunch of Christmas stuff in there. So when I go to my girl's parents' house, I'm actually going to take this carpet out while I'm there. So that is going away. Let me go ahead and pop the hood here for you guys. All right, so here we go. This is a Buick 350. When I owned it 10 years ago, it was actually just rebuilt at the time. So pretty much at that time it was pretty much brand new. I think since I've sold it and now got it back, I think the odometer has changed about 30,000 miles from when I owned the car. I actually have pictures of the odometer until what it has now. And the difference is about 30,000 miles. So worst case, this engine has about 30 to 40,000 miles on it since I've owned it, which is good. So I'm really, really happy about that. The guy said he just drove it on a 5-hour, 6-hour round trip. Well, 6 hours one way and back, and it actually drove flawlessly. So that's actually good to hear. The engine. So it actually just had a normal air cleaner on it before. I took it off because I found one of these locally, man. If you guys know anything about these air breathers, super expensive. They are not cheap, you guys, not cheap, and really hard to find. I can't imagine how much harder they are to find now. I don't think they are remanufacturing these at all either, so I am so happy that this is still here, including the hood. I actually added this hood, and I added this air breather right here. It took a little bit of work to get it on, but it's actually a direct fit to get right on there, and so I'm really happy that that's still there. To my knowledge, this is an OEM hood I got from a guy who was restoring a couple different Buick Skylarks, and this was an extra one that he had. I think he also was trying to get some money at the time too to help finish his build, and so that's why he sold that. So with this and that, I think I paid just about $1,000. He had actually had an OEM grill that was a GS grill. Again, this is all GS upgrades, and at the time I didn't have the money to buy it, so I had to pass on the grill. But oh man, that grill was really sharp at the time. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to clean this one up. I might even paint this grill black, just because I don't really like this kind of like dull gray that just comes with age, and I'm not really digging it. So what I think I'm going to do is try to paint it black and just kind of you know, spice it up a little bit more. But the engine is pretty sound. I mean, I do see some oil leaks that I'll probably have to address, but the main thing, y'all, is everything is there, and that's what I am super stoked about. I probably would end up taking this out since I don't use the wipers, and this is for the washer fluid. What I think I might do actually is put this on my Caprice, and that'll be in a different video, because I am actually looking for a reservoir for my LSA blower, and I think I could probably get by with using this as a reservoir, as long as I can find somewhere to mount this, whether if it's here on the side of my Caprice like it's mounted here, or something different. We'll see. But man, I'm not going to change this setup at all. I'm gonna leave it just how it is, y'all, just how it is. I really don't want to take the functionality away from the Ram Air setup, especially with this hood. I don't want just to have vents and not be able to have the functionality of the breather and everything. Plus, it's actually really refreshing and kind of rewarding to drive something other than my Caprice. I actually really miss the sound, the drive, the smell of an old school car. And when I first drove this, y'all, I was like, man, I really didn't realize how much I missed it. So I am super excited to get this dialed in. When I had it, the AC worked, everything worked. So now it doesn't. I'm not exactly sure why. I had recharged it and redid it at the time. What I might try to do is change it all to the pancake style compressor, so I can get this big compressor out and kind of clean it up a little bit. That would mean I would have to change the accessory as well, because all these are V-belt style accessories, so I'll probably have to change those, but that'll come at a different date. No need to rush and get that done now. I know the suspension is stock. He had changed it at the time, so it was fairly new at the time, but no longer probably really new now, but it's still, you know, solid. There is some Hotchkiss stuff. I think I just put their front and rear Hotchkiss sway bars in, and if I can remember correctly, I think that's the only Hotchkiss things that I put in at the time. So I'll probably try to upgrade some suspension pieces at some point. Other than that, I'll show you the trunk, but the trunk is full of again, Christmas stuff. But the trunk is actually really clean, y'all. That when I owned it, but the trunk looks pretty much just like this right here. But right here, it had a little bit of rotting, probably from water settling. And I know it gets a little bit wet over by the wheel wells. Now with this convertible tops on these particular cars, they usually were pretty common to leak somewhere in here, and then it would kind of just drip down and settle in down there. This one wasn't terrible. Again, I never really drove it in the rain too much, but I knew that that was already an issue with these cars. Let me go ahead and take you inside here. So everything works. The gauges work. I wouldn't say they're totally dialed in, but they work. I'm gonna have to fix this right here. I already repaired my other one in my Chevelle, so I pretty much know how to do this. I don't know how it broke. Probably somebody was just not gentle with it, but I can probably repair that on my own, so I don't have to buy a new one. What I will probably end up doing is going with a whole new dash setup. This is one thing that it didn't really annoy me. I didn't really care, but the speedometer I noticed is kind of bouncing around. Sometimes the needles on this side bounces around. I'd like a little bit more true fuel indicator as well. But you know what the cool thing is that timer still works, y'all. Still clicking. Look at that. Think how long that's probably been going for. 50 years. Oh, crazy. But I'm also going to kind of restore this whole speedometer cluster as well too. So, but I painted that blue a long time ago, and it actually looks really, really good. I'm glad that they took care of it. But everything in here, y'all, is pretty much like I left it. I'm just gonna have to really do some deep cleaning on this. And shoot, man, I'm so excited to get this car back. I would show you underneath, but there's really not a whole lot to see. It's probably dirty, but it's clean. No rust, nothing like that. I mean, it's pretty much all dialed in, you guys. Whoo-wee. But yeah, y'all, this is pretty much it. I am going to conclude this video. As promised, this is the walk around of the 1971 Buick Skylark Custom, but with my own little flair of the GS upgrade. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely, if you're not subscribed, think about subscribing to the channel. Hit that notification bell, as everyone says. And shoot, man, just stay tuned. You know I got that content coming. We coming, man, we coming. I hope you love this car. Stay tuned for more videos on this car. I'll probably also film me taking the carpet out and a couple other odds and ends. All right, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff, y'all. We out of here. Peace.